This is going to show you a solo flawless coil activity being done. This is a future prep video, future proofing you a little bit as I see a picture forming regarding the announcements yesterday on what they're going to do with Fireteam Ops, Pinnacle Ops, etc. I figured that I would run some other activities that we don't run and just have a look at them. My original idea for the video was to run Widow's Court Onslaught or Midtown Onslaught to see what this is like to run on a solo basis. And I can tell you, if there's no changes to this, it's definitely not worth running even at 4 completion rewards. On a solo basis, it's just not worth it because the ADU battery is too weak. And when you're solo, the ADU battery ends up getting blown up after 20-25 minutes. So you don't end up getting your completion rewards. So it's a pain, right? So Onslaught, I see no potential in these on the solo basis. In a fire team might be all right. But what I do see potential is the coil. So to give you a little bit of a broader picture, obviously the coil's free completion rewards at the moment. This is going to get moved to Pinnacle Ops. So it's going to come here and also Onslaught as well. So it's going to, I think so. But coil's going to be moved here, right? It's going to be Pinnacle. That means its loot pool is also going to get upgraded. There's also some Ash and Iron updates as well. But what I'm saying about this is that the coil's going to have potential when tier 5 portal loot is unlocked. So the famous Bushido armor set, however you want to pronounce it, people are sending me tutorial vids on how to pronounce it. Bushido armor set, right? Tier 5, you're going to be able to farm it via coil when we're allowed to be 500 power and when the coil moves over to Pinnacle Ops. Also, you can have up for grabs tier 5 retrograde and tier 5 other weapons as well. And the new loot, whatever the new loot is in Ash and Iron, because these are getting updated. Not only that though, these are all getting basically nerfed. Encore nerfed. I think Kel's Fall, I can't mind what they're doing with it. Starcross is getting nerfed and Whisper is losing a chest. So all of this is getting nerfed. So I foresee potentially a world where we might be farming coil at 500 power for tier 5 gear. And the reason being is because the coil has 3 or 4 bosses you fight through the entire thing. And those bosses have a chance of dropping tier 4 armor for me at 450 power. So when I'm 500 power, those bosses might drop tier 5 drops. And that's 3-4 bosses, so that could be another extra tier 5 armor on top of the completion rewards. So we could be getting 6 drops or so at tier 5 at 500 power, for example, on paper. This is what I'm saying that what might end up happening. And you can farm coil very quickly. If you get a good team, you can do this in less than 20 minutes. But you need a really good team for that. Obviously, I'm solo doing this and I've done it in 25 minutes. Not the most difficult version of the mission for sure, but I did do it relatively fast. And that's what I'm saying. So I'm future prepping you. I'm explaining to you that coil might have a place in the game when Ash and Iron launches and 500 power is obtainable with the tier 5 guaranteed from the portal drops. I hope you understand it. Let's have a look at the card on what I did. So I'm just running, your base power version, and here's the mods. Difficult Art, Fret, Hot Step, Vex Shocker, and Strand Hunger. Strand Hunger is OP. All the Hunger mods are, of course. You can have a lot of options for build crafting with this. Those are the red mods. I didn't run any Banes for this, just to show you what it's like. I did run 2 green buffs, and my god, does it speed up the run. This is what allows you to farm coil very quickly. It just melts the bosses. Airborne modifier, and Full Throttle. If you are going for solo flawless in any activity in Portal, if you can run Full Throttle, run it. It's a huge damage bonus. I've tried to research online what it is and I can't find out what it is. Maybe somebody down below can tell us what the damage bonus of this is. It's an incredible damage buff that you are getting and stacks with airborne. Allows for a lot of build crafting in this game. Coil does in general. Coil's a fantastic little activity to play, you know. Any new builds that you're cooking up, bring them to Coil to test them. It's a fantastic place to build craft and test your builds. Anyways. So we went over that. Oh, it's my build, isn't it? Okay, so we're using a Siva nanite build. At the touch of my fingertips, I will be able to destroy any single Vex add with a touch of my nanite thunderclap, poisonous damage, whatever you want to call it, right? So yeah, I'm rocking a Siva subclass, as you can see here. Let's just stop trolling now and tell you the real build. Okay, I'm running Tether, Marksman's Dodge, Freddied Spike, Grapple Melee, Grapple Grenade, Freddied Spectre, Ascension, Clone and Ascension Tech, Facet of Ruin, Protection, Hope, Dawn, and Facet of Purpose for Woven Mail. This is just my go-to fragments, to be honest, on Prismatic Hunter. We want lots of Transcendence uptime. I highly recommend on Prismatic builds you run Festival Flight. Whilst Mint Retrograde is OP, so is Festival Flight. It's so OP, man, on Prismatic builds, especially with the role that you see here. There are other roles on this, as I've mentioned in the past, but this role in particular is my favourite role on this weapon. Without a shadow of a doubt, even after the Attrition Orb nerf, I still foresee a lot of Prismatic builds taking a lot of advantage of Attrition Orb Strand GL. There is the Stasis GL from last season. You could use that instead. Just mentioning it, but you know, you should have a Festival Flight. You just played Solstice for 2 weeks. You're bound to have a festival, well, at least one role. I'm using Yeartide Apex, Heel Clip, Burning Ambition. That's probably I run either Heel Clip Burning Ambition or Heel Clip Chaos Reshaped. Those are the two different year tides I run. I don't run Incandescent nowadays, not so much. I run more of Burning Ambition or Chaos Reshaped. Anarchy for more Transcendence energy. It's just OP, man, with this setup of just double GL, everything with airborne, all that stuff. Exotic class item roll, Immost, Light and Cryo for Woven Mail. Stat distributions, don't want to talk about them too much, but those are the stats I've focused on. Class ability needs to be at least tier 70 to make it spammable. You're fine on that. If you've got an Immost Light Cape, tier 70 class ability is just about enough. Yeah, but there are other things buffing me in this run, just to mention. But yeah, that's all the stats. The artifact mods, those are what I had on. Not a lot of them help me. Only mainly, I would say, tightly woven helps massively. Favor and Chill, Range Shrapnel will help. Shield Crush is massive. Elemental Days, I mean, there's no champs in this anyways. But yeah, those are the main mods helping me out in this run. And you're going to be able to destroy all the bosses just with this build. It's an incredible build. And I think Prismatic Hunter mains should be very happy with Edge of Fate. Because yous lot have gotten a major buff. Yeah. Yous were memeable before Edge of Fate. Honestly, yous were. Yous were memeable. I mean, there was some things OP about Hunter. You know, like Lucky Pants and stuff and Nighthawk. But they've always been OP. But now, with the stat rework, and with like bumps like Spirit of Immost Light, it just stacks with all your stats so nicely. Being able to basically turn into a helicopter on Prismatic Hunter with Woven Mail and everything. Hunters are very competitive now in Edge of Fate. I am basically officially saying to you right now, I don't think Hunters are the worst class anymore like I used to think. I don't think it's like that anymore. I think just every single class is powerful in its own right. And when built into the right areas is OP. And that's just sort of how the game is now. It's not where you have to play Titan or you have to play Warlock or you have to play Hunter. You can play on any of them and get away with some OP builds. We're getting power crept again, man. Edge of Fate armor stats have power crept us even further, I think. The only thing limiting us on the power creep factor is that the exotic class items aren't Edge of Fate based. That's the only thing holding you back. Because when Avant-Garde comes in, you're not going to be able to use these class items, right? And that's what hurts the prismatic builds quite a lot when you can't use these class items, because these class items are designed to be used with prismatic. So until Bungie buffs this, you can't fully rely on this for conquests and stuff. So you need to think and come up with other ideas when you're on prismatic. So that's the only thing that's halted the power creep progress, is that these exotic class items are not Edge of Fate based. That's it. Here's the armor mods on screen. Is there a solar scavon? No, there isn't. So everything's in check. Oh, no, there isn't. No way. A damn harmonic siphon was on. It's ruined the entire video. I'm not rerunning it back, lads. We'll have to run it with the void siphon on. It is what it is. I'm not running back the video. Oh, well. That's just how that was. Anyways, I've given you the build information. On with the run. So here is the Solar Flawless, the coil being done. It's got to break the pot to get the material called Fused Wishing Glass. And you get a whole host of different buffs. I'm going to pick Airborne. I don't know if that stacks with the mod I've got on my card, but I think it does. I've got double Airborne right now, which is OP. But this is roguelike. That's what's so good about Coil, is it's a roguelike activity that's, you know, fairly longer than other things. And I think this is better than the Onslaughts. On a solo basis, definitely. Maybe even team as well, because a well-oiled team will be able to do this in 20 minutes. And less. Your well-oiled teams, for sure. 100%. If you've got all rocking good builds and stuff, I see potential. I mean, I done it in 25 minutes on a solo basis. You know. So you see what I'm saying now. Obviously, it's not the hardest version of it, but, you know, the solo's there. So this first part, you want to get the pads. Now, I'm not going to destroy all the pots for the materials. What the materials do is they end up giving you more points to spend on buffs. I'm going to skip a lot of pots. I'm not destroying all the pots because I want to do this quicker than that. I don't want to have this run be 30-40 minutes. I want it to be 20-25 minutes, and that's it. There is RNG as well with this, with the coil, on what you actually get. Each encounter has its own little thing. So right now I've got clear the layers intruders. This is a little bit different as opposed to what it can be. Sometimes you've got to destroy boxes with a cranium and stuff. So it's different each time. So right now we've got clear the layers intruders. Now you can see I've already got my super, I've already got my stuff. Check right hand side, you see full throttle and ability surge and strand hunger. Strand hunger will keep giving me my super back and my ability uptime when I do damage with the strand GL. Right, there you go, that's number one. That then gives me ability surge buff for 20 seconds or so, and that just keeps rinsing and repeating. The full throttle buff gives you a huge damage bonus, which allows you to melt bosses, especially on a build like this that's airborne. We've got airborne on twice, once on the card and once in the coil itself, because it's got airborne. I think it double stacks, because I can tell you these bosses are quite tanky in this, and I melt the bosses, absolutely destroy them, and there's 3 or 4 of them at least. Okay, so we just keep working our way up. I've got my Transcendence to pop, but I'm not going to just pop it just yet. Don't need to. But I'm looking to tether for sure. Here we go. Tether goes in. Nice tether at the stairs. All of the ads come into that tether. Nice. Tether's very important in this. And you would imagine that it is, because it's very ad dense. It's more ad dense than pretty much mostly anything in the game. The only thing that matches it, I would say, is Onslaught. But Onslaught has that battery, and if that ADU battery destroys 25-30 minutes in, you go to orbit. And it's no good on the solo basis. I would like to see the ADU buffed. It needs a buff. Like, if you're playing solo, the ADU battery should have much more health than what it does. It just ends up getting destroyed. You would have to play cracked out of your mind to solo it on GM level Onslaught. And in the end, it wouldn't be worth it. And that's what I come to the conclusion today. I was like, there's no way that, like, on a solo basis with solo and Onslaught for engrams and stuff and primes. There's just no way that it's beneficial. So I was like, what else is in the game? I mean, we've got solo ops, yeah. We've got fire team ops, which, by the way, there's going to be individual farms for fire team ops because we're getting solo operative as a bonus score multiplier in the next 2 weeks. So there's going to be a farm for that too. I didn't say that there wasn't. Before you say that, I never said that fire team ops probably will be better than Pinnacle ops overall in the end after all the changes. It all depends on what they do. You've got to remember as well is we're 2 weeks away. Bungie issued that TWAB out, and they've done this on purpose to tell you early, and they're going to ask what you think about it, and everybody's saying they don't like it, so they're not going to go with that plan. I can guarantee the plan will change. If I was a betting man, I'm 90% sure that all of the nerfs they mentioned yesterday are not going to happen, and they're just going to bring everything else up to par. They didn't need to nerf solo ops. They didn't need to nerf Pinnacle ops. They just needed to buff fire team ops and everything else and buff prime engrams, which they technically are buffing prime engrams, but we need to see how that'll work. So this first boss, you need to take down his overshield with the craniums. Minotaurs will drop the craniums. Easy, right? I do get hit quite hard. I'm getting hit hard there, though. But that's all right. Good positioning will help us survive. I've got a tether to go in. Just watch this. Watch this melt. Yeah? Just watch his health pool go all the way down, right? So, double anarchy. Threaded spike radiant. Temporal blast. Strand GL. Transcend. Look at that. He just gets destroyed. I can't commentate it. Unrealist. Extremely fun. And it's something that I would see me playing this again. On the off chance on another day, I would actually play this. If it's got bonus focus rewards, and it's some bonus focus that I actually want, in the next week or so, I would definitely play this again. It's definitely fun. It's probably the funnest. It's probably one of the funnest things, fire team ops wise, to play. It is, and it surprised me because I haven't played Coil until today. This is the first time me playing it today. I mean, I played Coil in the past before Edge of Fate, but I'm on about the Portal version. This is the first port. This is the first. Well, this is my second Coil clear today. First one was for science. Second one was like, all right, I see. I remember what to do now because I didn't know what to do with Coil. It's been that long since I ran it. I didn't really know what to do. Pervading darkness, free plates. The pervading darkness needs to be refreshed at the light aura. You need to stand still. You can't just run through the aura. You need to stand still momentarily for a second or half a second. Yeah, it's a little buggy, the lights, is what I'm trying to explain to you. Now, there is an extra tip. If there's a glass cannon collector, if you kill the glass cannon collector, he drops a tier 4. When we are doing this at 500 power, if you kill the glass cannon collector, I think he's going to drop us tier 5 armor. Do you see now where I'm going with this Coil thing? It's not just the end rewards you're getting. There's a few drops where you'll get that are tier 4. I mean, certainly on my first clear it was true. But there's also some drops that are tier 2. The chest rewards are no good. It's the individual drops that can happen from bosses. And that's what I'm exactly talking about. Okay, so next room, it's torches lit. It could be a different objective. I believe there's 2 different objectives per room, I think. But with it being so long since I've run this, I don't know exactly if that is true. But I've seen 2 different types of encounters on this one. So torches lit. This is just kill wizards. Yeah, you kill a wizard, you get a torch, you dunk the torch in middle. Now we're just going to keep doing our grapple melee for woven mill. Keep doing your ascensions. Look at the class ability regen on that. It's nasty, man. It's nasty regeneration, especially on this build and everything. Just stacking with everything, with Inmost Light and everything. You know, Inmost Light stacking with ability surges and all that stuff. It's just crazy. It results in a very fun solo clear, I must admit it. It's just a shame that it's not as rewarding as what we would hope. Yeah. Okay, we're on 2 of 3. Again, just keep doing that. Obviously, when we're airborne, the strand GL melts. It destroys this, especially with Temporal Blast. We'll grapple melee that wizard. I'm going to just dunk. I don't know if these ads disappear or not on dunk. I don't think they do, because there's a boss to spawn in yet. Well, I wouldn't say a boss. I would say mini bosses. They're not actual boss here. It's just 2 mini bosses. Tether goes in. A loyal tether. Look at this. Strand GL. Let me jump in the air. I'm getting weak off that arc Fred. So, you know, it's not a one and done this, you know. You need to play a little bit. Because there's chance of death. For sure, there's chance of death. But obviously the build is really helping out. Like, as soon as I pop Ascension, if my shields are broken, it's fine. The chances of me coming out of that combatant section is actually quite high. And you wouldn't think that because my shields break, you worry. I've noticed that a lot with people is that they'll timestamp me and say, man, you nearly died several times in this run. And the viewer's really worried that I'm going to die at any minute. And I'm thinking, why are you worrying about that? I'm the one playing, not you. And I'm not worried about it, so why are you? Is that how you play the game? When your shields break, your desire and your will breaks along with it? Because that's what it sounds like, and it shouldn't be. Especially on a build like this, you don't realise how tanky you can be. When your shields break, get that Ascension and that clone up, boom. There you go. Look, all the ads de-aggro on your location to a point. Once your clone is destroyed, then they're back on you. But don't forget, Amplified isn't just speed boost. The ads are less accurate against you, and people forget that small detail. It's not a small detail. It's actually a huge detail, but people just forget it. I've had people comment to me saying, what good's Amplified? I don't care about, speed boost. And I'm like, do you realise what Amplified is doing for us in the game? That's the main reason why Prismatic Titan got a buff last season. It's because it got Amplified built into it. That was it was a buff in GM content. And Amplified, as far as I'm aware, has not been nerfed since, so it's still OP for builds. Is Amplified. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. If you're weak and your shields are broken, you've popped a emergency button, which is your Ascension. That is your emergency, hunters, and it's the best thing you have. So you should definitely be using it. Alright, this is the second boss. So we've got wizards to kill, and there's perverting darkness at all times. I believe I think you die at times 10 stacks, right? I think so. But you just refresh buff on the light. We're going to melt these 3 wizards though. Look at that. Burning Ambition and Temporal Blast. Yeah, 3 wizards are killed. The boss, what's his lad's name? Blade Bound to the Terrace. He's some sort of landlord in the Taken community. A couple of Vex enemies owe him rent or whatever. But we pop a Transcendence here. Look at the melt here. Like I say, keep in the air as much as possible. Because the Anarchy tick damage will be buffed while you're in air because of airborne. And like I said, we've got 2 airborns. Look at the chunks. This is allowing us to farm it so much quicker. I have done this without airborne, and the bosses are much more tanky than that, by the way. So you just don't underestimate the amount of damage we're doing with this. It's an incredible amount of damage. Okay, I picked protection bosses because I haven't got many mats. Oh, tier 2, there you go. Look at how bad that is. Man, at 450 power, it really is a kick in the down below when you get a tier 2 at 450. In my opinion, tier 2, tier 3 should stop dropping. When you get a 450 power or 500 power, the game should say, right, no more tier 2s, no more tier 3, only tier 4 minimum should drop. That's basically what it should be. And say if a tier 2 does drop, it should just automatically turn into some material. Or cause, there should be a button on your menu to say, turn tier 2, tier 3 armor, tier 1 armor into cause. Because we had that in Destiny 1. I'm just saying it. If you got a blue engram in Destiny 1, there was a setting to turn it off and turn it into materials. That was 7, 8, 9 years ago. Yeah? And it worked then. And it would work now. A setting, a loot setting to auto-delete loot that you will never use. At 450, 500 power, there's some of this loot. Tier 3 is automatically delete. Tier 3 armor now, for me, is auto-delete. Because the stats are far too low. You would never masterwork it. Even a God Roll Tier 3 armor, it would still be a delete because it's 10, 15 stats below what you want. Tier 4 is not always instant delete. No, absolutely not. You can make a God build with Tier 4 armor. But you still do want that Tier 5 armor. And it's a conversation for another day, right? You still definitely want Tier 5 is everything what it's cracked up to be in actual fact. And that's coming from me. You know I'm picky. You know I'm picky with stuff. Well, with Tier 5 I'm not. I think Bungie's done a good job with Tier 5. The only problem with Tier 5 is the tuning stat needs reworked. That needs reworked. The Tier 5 tuning stat's no good. But the overall power feeling of a full Tier 5 build is on point. I think so. I just think that. Right? Now I've got Scorn to defeat. So this room, as I say, can be different depending on what. I've got Scorn defeated, so I need to kill the Scorn. There are 3 Scorn captains, and then their shield needs to be taken down. Okay? Now, at 100%, you get these shiny enemies. Shiny Scorn. They drop you a buff called Elemental Virus. This is actually a very cool buff. And you just get that buff, and you poison. You take down the poisonous shield, basically. Right? Or whatever you want to call it. And that just takes down the plague, whatever it's called, plague wielder. There you go. That melts your captains. All ads will despawn. I could get more points by killing more ads. There are times in this run where I could have killed a few more ads to get maybe a slightly higher grading score. For sure that could have happened. But then the run's so much longer, right? This was a 25-minute run, which, by the way, that's good. For solo, that's very good, because the tooltip says it's a 45-minute activity. Now, on the poisonous areas, try not to set them off. If you want flawless, which, I mean, you know, if you don't want to die, don't touch that poison. It has a radius. And once you go near it, if there's a plate to get, and you've set the poison off, you're in trouble. The poison melts you in this area. On my first clear, I'll be honest, my first clear of this, I died to the poison. Me being numb, being silly with it. Because I couldn't, for the life of me, remember this mechanic. Because it's been so long since it's been so long. Because what I did is I set the poison plates off and couldn't find my plates. And I actually died. Not on this run, but on my first run I did. So, you've got to be careful with the poison stuff in this area, right? I've got 5 revives, so if I did die, it's not a problem, but... well, it is a problem. I would lose full throttle. Full throttle is a buff. If you die, you lose the buff. And you need to get it back. Although it's not too hard to get back. But I am saying I'm going to lose this massive buff I've got on the right-hand side of my screen here. 100 times full throttle. Again, I would love to know the damage numbers, but I don't know. I've tried looking on Destiny 2 Compendium. It hasn't got portal information on there yet. So I don't know what Airborne does. Is it 50% damage there? I don't have a clue, honestly. I just don't know. And I'm too busy to be testing it and all. I do enough tests as it is. For me, I don't need to. I know that it's just doing incredible damage. Look at this. Shiny enemy in middle drops Elemental Virus, like at this before. We melt the Ogre in middle, get rid of him. And now we're going to tether this boss. Take down my shield. Look at this. Ascension in the air. Transcendence pop. I am weak, but I've got over shield. And we're just going to keep phase plank and this boss. Look at this damage we're doing here. I need to go into middle to get rid of the virus. I need to get rid of the my virus. Middle's your reset. It's like Shattered Throne. This is a fantastic little arena. I like this arena. Because there's all the ads from up top hitting you. And you sort of, you know, really CQC with the boss. I actually like that little room. On harder difficulties, by the way, that room's pretty difficult. If you're doing that minus 30 or minus 40, your strategy would have to go way up. My strategy would have had to go way up on that one. I wouldn't have been able to just do what I did there. But I am showing you, as I say, how to quickly do coil on a solo basis. So I haven't got much wished glass. Yeah. So I can't pick up any more buffs. But I mean, I've got plenty of buffs. I've got boss protection, class ability accelerant, which is 300%, and airborne. I've got enough anyways. So don't worry about the buffs too much. I mean, it's mainly the first top 2 tiers that you want anyways. Like, boss protection, yeah, that's a good one. Airborne is incredible. Like, if Airborne is ever up on this, I don't know if the mods rotate the buffs, like on a daily reset, but I imagine they maybe do. But if they do, always look for Airborne. If Airborne's not up though, then I don't know. I'd have to look at what all the mods are. You understand, I don't know if all the mods are set or if they're on a rotating daily basis. The mods from Riven, that's what I'm on about. The roguelike mods. Okay, now I just need to get the portals, the plates, sorry. Got to be careful here though with the goblins. They do hit you quite hard, so we've got to be careful of that. I've got 2 plates here. Plenty of wish glass to pick up. I'm not bothered honestly too much about picking up all these. For the run, you know. So there was a lot I skipped. I did skip a lot of the wish glass. Okay, 3rd plate found. These puzzles, by the way, one-shot you. They 1-KO you. That's what eats revives. Especially on fire team runs, there's always somebody that's struggling. Yeah, or battling it. Some rogue LFG guy. I mean, don't take advantage of them. If they keep dying, give them a hand. Yeah. You know, don't let a blueberry suffer on those spikes too much. You know, that's all I'm saying. Try to, you know... But they will eat your revives. So my advice on LFG, if you're experienced, don't push up. Play with the blueberry so that he gets past the spikes. That's my advice, because they're just going to keep dying and eat all your reses. That's team run advice. Okay, Teva goes in middle, and I've got some harpies here. Now I've got the Vex Cranium rotation. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of these Rivens. Just look at that nasty damage against those Rivens, because we're jumping in the air and stuff. Quantum Harpies, to take note, they are not supplicants, so they're not a threat to me. Supplicants definitely are, but the general Harpies are not. Shiny Minotaurs in middle will drop a cranium. I need to then destroy the cranium boxes in middle. You can see quite clearly what we're doing here. Take down the cranium boxes, and then we want to kill the boss in middle. It's a taken ogre, which I've got all my stuff for him as well. I got Teva, Transcendence, full ammo. By the way, special ammo's dropping like crazy. Because of special surge, your ammo is just dropping so much, especially on a GL. I never run out of ammo because of that extra buff this week. Teva goes in. Let's check this melt. Transcendence. Double Anarchy, jump in the air, Ascension, get the damage buff, look at the chunk. Like I say, these bosses are meant to have a lot of health, not on this rotation. You just destroy them quickly. So quickly, it's so good. It's so fun as well, it's incredibly fun. It is. I thought that the ads would disappear, but they don't. I need to clear them. Let me just quickly clear them. A couple of ads at the back of the map. And there you go. Looking at my progress bar, I'm 8,000. So we're close to my goal target for grading. Because it's so hard dense, you're going to automatically get a lot of points anyways, just from that. Okay, final puzzle. Remember, be careful of spikes. They 1-KO you. I've got 6 revives. These plates are RNG as well. They're not in the exact same spot every time. There are several places for each plate. What I would say is, if you haven't done the coil in a long time, you are going to suffer on this bit. You're going to suffer in terms of where's the damn plate at, you know. That's what you're going to be thinking the entire time. Where's that plate? Yeah, because you just make sure you check each room securely. And basically that's advice, and be careful of the spikes. Just be self-aware of it everywhere you jump. Okay, I believe this is final boss. The banner's delayed. It's delayed for some reason. Banner goes in. Final boss. It's the same room as the other one, but this time it's the Hydra. This time it's the Hydra. So same thing. We're looking for the Minotaur that glows. There we go. Get a grapple melee on him. pick up the cranium, and we're just going to destroy this guy's overshield. But the best place to stand technically is at the back of the map. If you get chased by him too heavily, make a clone. That will immediately de-aggro all ads off you. Like, look at that. I get weak, clone. Yeah. This is why it's unbelievably strong. Yeah. The next contest dungeon, I will run this build. Do you understand it, Hunter Mains? Because a lot of you fight with me about things. I will run this. This is what I would run. If I'm allowed to run any build on Hunter, the next contest dungeon, whatever it is, this is what I'll run. Over everything. Even over grapple melee. Even over that. Basically, this is what I would run. Because it's just your overall fantastic build. Look at that. We melt the boss immediate. Because of all the buffs going on at once. So that's it. The final chest will spawn in. Obviously, it's tier 4 armor. But when we get to 500 power, all of that gear would be tier 5. And it would be Bushido armor as well. Yeah. So that was a solo flawless coil done in 25 minutes. Very interesting, fun thing. Just hopefully Bungie does the right thing when they're buffing these sort of activities. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.